Many years ago, in the beautiful city of Lagos, there lived a beautiful young lady whose name was Amaka. Amaka was married to a handsome, tall man whose name was Chike. He was a business exporter, general merchandise. Chike was not just handsome, he was a wealthy Igbo man who loved his wife and loved to show her off at the slightest opportunity. They were a wealthy couple. They lived in a big, beautiful house and rode fine cars. They had money. But despite all these things that they had, Amaka was not happy just because she was fat. She did not like the fact that she was fat and she hated herself for being fat. But then Amaka loved food though, with her full chest. She did not just enjoy food, she celebrated food. She ate and feasted like a king. She would never miss a single meal. During breakfast, she would have almost a three-course meal just for breakfast. Then before lunch, she would take snacks. She would take meat pie and coke. Then lunch again, she would have another three-course meal for lunch. Then after lunch, before dinner, she would snack on chin-chin or biscuits. Then at dinner, that is where Amaka will now finish work. She would eat so much food. Of course, she was not the one cooking all this food. She had a private chef that cooked for her household, so it made things easier for her. And you would think that Amaka was done eating for the day after having dinner. But no, Amaka would watch movie every night and would never watch movie with her mouth empty. She would always be chewing on one thing or the other. If you really checked well, you will see that Amaka was eating more than 7 times a day. And yet, she will still not be full. Oh. Amaka was a handful. Every New Year, every January 1st, at least for the past 5 years, she would always write a New Year resolution. She would tell herself, this year, I must lose weight. I must be slim. I must be sexy. I must have a snatched waist. She would even go ahead and write it in a new book. Her first goal of the year would usually be to lose weight. Then her second goal for the year would be to stay slim before she now start writing other things. But my dears, by March, the book that she used to write her New Year resolution would have gone missing because by then she would be busy dipping bread inside tea and enjoying her life. And the funniest part of this is that each time she just says she wants to start a new weight loss journey, that is when her husband Chike will become the weapon fashioned against her. One evening, she stood in front of the mirror holding her stomach. She didn't like how she looked. So then she turned to her husband and said, babe, I'm serious this time. I want to lose weight, like really lose weight. No more nonsense. I'm going on a strict diet. By the time you see me in the next 6 months, I'll be all snatched. You'll be able to lift me up and carry me. I want to be slim now, Amaka said. Then Chike came and hugged her from behind and said, no problem, my love. Anything you need to achieve this your journey, this your dream, just let me know. I will support you in any way that I can, Chike said sweetly. But that same night, as Amaka was watching TV, Chike came back. Guess what he was carrying in a white nylon bag? Suya. It was the smell that hit her first. And she turned to her husband and said, Chike, what is that? She asked, looking surprised. Then Chike opened it proudly and said, oh, my dear, it's suya. Oh, I bought it for you. In short, I told the aboki to make sure he puts extra pepper and onions just the way you like it. And I also bought ice cream so that after eating the suya, you use the ice cream to wash it down. Then I bought chocolate for you in case you want to snack on it later. Chike replied sweetly. Then his wife, Amaka, looked at him and said, for me? Hey, Chike, are you my enemy? Today I told you that I want to start weight loss journey. You're buying suya, you're buying ice cream, you're buying chocolates. Are you not the one that said you will support me? And you're buying all these things for me. What have I done now, Chike? Amaka said, looking surprised. Then Chike just stood there, scratching his head like a confused goat, and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, my love. No, it was not my intention to sabotage your journey. Oh. I just forgot. And no problem. You can eat this one today. Then you start again tomorrow. Eh? I bought all these things for you because I love you. You are my wife," Chike said, trying to take charge of the situation. And so that was how Amaka sat down and finished the whole food. From the suya to the ice cream to the chocolate, she cleaned it, telling herself that she would start her weight loss journey again the next day. And that was how she kept on moving day one of her weight loss journey. Every day, she would hold her phone to video herself saying, "Hi everyone, today is day one of my weight loss journey. I'm just videoing myself so that I can see how far I have come. So that when I lose weight, I'll be able to see how fat I was before. Bye," Amaka would say as she ended the video. Every single day was day one. Amaka had done more than 10 videos. She was always restarting day one because by the end of that day one, she had fallen and then would start another day one the next day. Well, before she knew what was happening, time was going. She had gotten to September and was still very fat. As a matter of fact, she had not even lost 1 kg. Instead, she had even gained more weight. But by the time October came, Amaka was now very scared. She was scared because Christmas was fast approaching. Christmas was barely 2 months away. And every Igbo person knew that Christmas meant traveling to the village. And traveling to the village meant that she was going to see all her husband's brothers and their wives. She was particularly afraid of her husband's brothers' wives because they were all slim and sexy, flat tummy, tiny waist, high heels. They always wore fitted gowns, short, trendy gowns. Something that she could not wear because she was fat. Last Christmas, one of them, whose name was Ijeoma, had whispered to the other one loud enough for Amaka to hear. They were mocking her. Ijeoma had said, Chike is really feeding his wife. Oh, see how she's just adding every year. And she has not even given birth. Yeah, she's just getting fatter and fatter. Then Chioma, that one had sharp mouth, razor blade mouth. That one just replied and said, she will be there, eating and eating, until she collapses and dies one day. Orobo no dey reign again, no. Obesity is not a sign of wealth. It was in those days that obesity used to be a sign of wealth. It's not more like that, oh. It is not more like that. Now, na lepa dey reign. Na slim fit dey reign. So we'll just dey there, they chop her life away. Chioma said, and then they both busted out into laughter. That last Christmas, she was so broken. Amaka was broken. And she was already approaching another Christmas. She did not want to suffer what she suffered last Christmas in the hands of her co-wives. So she looked at herself and said, Amaka, you can no longer be the fat and shapeless one. I refuse to be the one that everybody's making a caricature of. I need to rise from my slumber. I need to stop being fat. At least I have 2.5 months before Christmas. I can lose substantial weight before then. Enough is enough. I must lose weight. Operation Lose Weight has started, Amaka said to herself proudly. So the next day, the first thing she tried was intermittent fasting. She had spent hours watching several videos, reading posts, and what she kept on reading, everybody kept on saying, you need to fast for 16 hours and eat for 8 hours. So she needed to do a fasting window of 16 hours and eating window of 8 hours. So she swung into action. So that day, she did not eat any food until 12 p.m., even though she felt like dying. She kept on telling herself, Amaka, you can do this. You can do this. You are a master over your body. You have the power over your body. So she held herself up until 12 noon. Then from 12 to 7 p.m., she ate clean food, vegetables, protein in small quantities. Then after 7 p.m., she did not eat anything again for that day. She was so proud of herself. Day one had been completed. But by the following day, it was as if hunger gave her a slap to wake up. By 8 a.m., her stomach had started making small frog noises. Brrr, brrr. By 10 a.m., she could already perceive the stew from her neighbor's kitchen. By 11 a.m., she was standing by the wall clock, checking the clock every 2 minutes to check whether it was time. When it finally clocked 12 p.m. on the dot, if you see the way she rushed to the kitchen, in her mind, she was just going to eat a small portion. But her brain was saying a different thing. Her brain kept on telling her, you are hungry. You need to eat. You need to eat. You need to eat. That was how Amaka began to dish out a massive plate of rice, stew, chicken, plantain, and meat. And then sat down, balanced herself, and finished everything. Then later in the day, she started feeling hungry again. She now told herself, I did not eat very well yesterday. Let me just take shawarma. It will not hurt. That was how she ordered shawarma and ate. By the next day, Amaka had completely forfeited her intermittent fasting. She was now eating like somebody that wanted to die. That like someone that has not seen food for the past 1 year. Anything that she saw, she would put in her mouth. And almost 2 weeks later, by the time she climbed the scale, rather than lose weight, she had gained some more weight. The number on the scale had gone up. She kept on screaming at the scale, are you mad? After all my suffering, are you mad? Am I not supposed to be losing weight? Are you not supposed to be going down? You are coming up. This scale is faulty. This scale is not good. I have to go and buy a new scale. This scale is not good at all. Amaka said to herself. So a few days later, she came up with another plan since intermittent fasting had failed her. Amaka decided to try something new, something that would give her sharp results. So she told her friend about it, and her friend introduced her to a WhatsApp group that was named Lose 10 kg in 10 days, no excuse. Already, that kind of name should have been a red flag. How can a sane person lose 10 kg in 10 days? But Amaka did not care. All she knew was that she wanted fast results, sharp results. So after she was added to the group admin introduced them to a weight loss pill that she called Magic, that will make them burn fat without doing anything. That while they sleep, their fat will be burning. They will not need to diet. They will not need to exercise. They will not need to do anything at all. The pill will do just the work. Amaka, upon seeing that, messaged her quickly. How much? And although the price was high, almost she paid though. She paid. So after getting the pills, the first night she swallowed the pill and lay down, hoping that by the time she woke up the next morning, she would have lost a reasonable amount of weight. After all, they promised that she was going to lose 10 kg in 10 days. But then after some hours, her stomach started moving like washing machine. Her heart was beating fast. Her hands were shaky. Then her husband, Chike, noticed it and said, Amaka, are you okay? What's wrong? Chike said, looking concerned. Then Amaka replied and said, nothing, no. Maybe I'm just stressed. Maybe I just need water. Amaka said, trying to form strong woman, Jagaban. But by the second day, when she took another pill, by evening, her chest had become so tight. She was breathing roughly. At this point, she was one that used her hand to tell Chike, please take me to the hospital. I don't want to die. I don't feel well. And so Chike had to rush her to the hospital, and she went with the pills as well. The doctor looked at the pills that she came with and said, Madam, what are you doing with all these pills? Then Amaka replied and said, doctor, it's the weight loss group that I belong to. They said if I take these pills, I would lose 10 kg in 10 days. Amaka said sadly. Then the doctor looked at her and said, Madam, these things can damage your body. You shouldn't be taking any weight loss pills. You don't even know what it is made up of. It can damage your liver, your kidney, your organs. Please, the doctor said. And so that was how that day, she spent her whole day in the hospital. just because she wanted to take weight loss pills to lose weight. She just kept on thinking aloud to herself, saying, so this is how I will just die for nothing because I don't want to be fat this Christmas. Now, wow. So the next day, they discharged her from the hospital and she went back home. Immediately she got back home, the first thing she did was to carry all the pills and throw them straight into the dustbin and hissed, no more nonsense. So after that hospital scare, Amaka decided to do things the right way, the serious and sensible way. So she started trying to take walks around the estate in the morning. She even downloaded a workout app where the lady in the video will always be shouting, you got this, feel the burn, come on, keep on going. Amaka was tired of feeling the burn. Sometimes she will be able to exercise, sometimes she will just lie on the floor and sleep off while the video was still saying, feel the burn, come on, you got this. After a while, Amaka told herself that exercise was not for her. Before one day she would collapse and die. So she decided to do it the smart way, portioning her food and eating more vegetables and protein. So initially she started eating salads, cucumber, carrots, grilled chicken, fruits, and the rest of that. While she'll be watching her children eating jollof rice and chicken. Sometimes she will sit beside them and she'll be nodding her head in sadness. Amaka. So you to be eating better food like jollof rice. You're here, chewing like a goat, chewing cucumber and carrot, chewing leaves like a goat. And sometimes, when the children were not even looking, she would quickly steal one spoon of rice from their food, saying that after it was just one spoon, it could not make her fatter than she was already. But then, one spoon became two, and two became three. And in less than 3 days, almost she ditched her clean eating and started eating proper food. She went back to eating the way she was eating, like a glutton. And before she knew what was happening, it was already first week of December. By this time, she knew that she had failed. There was no way she could lose weight again before Christmas. All her plans for weight loss, for wearing trendy, beautiful clothes so that her co-wives would not mock her, had been destroyed. So she began to ponder, what can I do? How can I avoid this shame this Christmas? Hey, Ijeoma and Chioma, their mouth is so bad. These people will abuse me. Last year Christmas, I did not enjoy it at all. Oh no, Joe. Hey God, what will I do? Then one afternoon, a bright idea dropped in her mind. She made a decision that she was not going to travel to the village, and that was simple and final. But she knew that her husband would not agree. So she started pretending to be sick. She started acting like a sick person. She would be walking slowly around the house, hold her head, cough, and sigh loudly, especially when her husband was there. She would cover herself with blankets in hot weather. She was just pretending, doing everything to look sick. Then one day, when she was lying in the sofa, pretending to be ill, Chike looked at her and said, honey, what is it? You've been behaving very sick this period. Odikwamma, what is happening? Chike asked, looking very concerned. Then Amaka looked at him and said, I don't know. My body is just paining me. I'm not feeling well. I feel very sick. I feel sick internally. I'm hot and cold inside. I feel like my intestines they are vibrating. Then my kidney is doing me somehow. Then my chest is beating fast. I can't even explain what is doing me. But I feel like it is serious. Maybe we should not travel this Christmas so that I will not faint in the village. There's not a proper hospital in the village, just all these healthcare centers. If anything serious happens to me, they will not be able to take care of me. Maybe we should not travel this Christmas, Amaka said, pretending to be weak and frail. Immediately, Chike's face changed. Not travel, okay? Do you know what you're saying? Amaka, do you know that I am an Igbo man? Do you know that I have a chieftaincy title? Do you know that it's an abomination for an Igbo man not to travel to village for Christmas? Do you know what my father would say? Do you know what my mother would say? Mbamba, Sophia, don't ever bring that up. Whatever is wrong with you, there's still time. I will take you to hospital. They will treat you. Biko. Buchapo. That is not even an option. Chike said, already sounding very upset. Then Amaka looked at him, still trying to plead her case, and said, okay, but maybe you can travel with the children this year. I will stay back and rest. I just need to rest, please. I will call you guys from time to time on video call. Oh, Bikonam. Amaka replied. Then Chike looked at her and said, never, Chukwaju, God forbid. You are my wife, so you must go to the village. You have duties. Are you listening to me? You must be there. So all this sickness that is doing you, no problem. I'll give you money. Go to the best hospital. They will treat you. We still have about 2 weeks before we travel to the village. Don't bring up this topic before me again. Chike replied angrily. So that was how the sickness ended that night too. Amaka realized that she could not avoid going to the village. So Amaka moved on to plan B. Since she could not lose weight, then it was time to find a way to look slimmer, to look smaller by fire by force. So that was how Amaka went to the market to go and charter waist trainers so that she will be snatched. The one that will be able to hold all the fat in her body like it was holding somebody's destiny. And so when she went to the market, the seller brought out different types for her, assuring her that as soon as she wore it, her waist would disappear. So Amaka bought as many as she could and went back home happily. When she went back home that day, she wore the waist trainer. She had to suck in her stomach. She pulled, she hooked to one side, she dragged the other side before she was finally able to successfully wear it. At one point, she just kept on saying, God, please help me, help me, help me, until she was able to finally close it. But after closing it, she could not breathe well. To even stand up was a struggle. To walk around the room was a struggle. Her husband, Chike, kept on looking at her. Why are you walking like that? He asked. Then Amaka responded and said, hey, I'm fine. I'm fine. But she was not fine, no. She was literally dying inside. So from that day, she had come up with her perfect Christmas plan, which was to wear waist trainer from morning till night and wear big boo gowns on top so that nobody would see it. She also told herself that she was going to avoid people. She was not going to be interacting with people so that they would not see how fat she had become. Amaka could not even buy new Christmas clothes for herself because she did not like her body. She did not like being fat. Each time she went to buy clothes, she would buy clothes that were smaller in size, saying that it was for her future size. Her wardrobe were filled with clothes that were not her size. They were her future clothes for when she lost weight. Amaka was literally punishing herself for nothing. Then finally, the D-Day had come. They had to travel down to the village. As their car drove into the family compound, while Chike was looking so excited and happy, Amaka was so nervous, especially because she could already see Chike's brothers and their wives in the compound. They were already there, Ijeoma and Chioma. And from what she was seeing, the wives did not come to joke. They were all wearing skinny jeans and crop tops. They were all looking dashing, trendy, beautiful. While she was wearing bubu gowns, all these free gowns that can contain 3 people together, just because she was trying to hide her fat. Immediately, Amaka got down from the car. One of the wives greeted her and said, Amaka, long time. Look at how you are fresh, everyday fatter. Oh, welcome, Jare. Hope your journey was not stressful. Ijeoma said sarcastically. Then the other one, Chioma, the one with the razor blade mouth, looked at her and said, hey, Orobo, welcome. You have not born like this. I wonder what will happen after you give birth. We are so happy to see you. Welcome, Jare. Chioma said. Amaka felt so bad. And in the days that followed, Ijeoma and Chioma made it a point of duty to make funny jokes about Amaka's size. Amaka felt so bad. She would always stay indoors. So each time the wives planned to go out together, maybe to the market, to visit someone or something, She will not go with them. She will always pretend and say, oh, I just need to rest a bit. I'm tired. Let me just cook something. So when people come back, food will be ready. Or she will come up with saying, oh, let me just help Mama in the kitchen. Let me stay back with Mama and gist with her so that the house will not be empty. Don't worry, you people should go out. Amaka refused to go anywhere with them. So her husband and his brothers and their wives would go out, while Amaka would be hiding in her room. She stayed mostly indoors. Sometimes she would even be watching from the window as Ijeoma and Chioma were taking selfies and laughing and being happy. She was so sad. Christmas, that was supposed to be a time of celebration, was a time of sadness for her. She kept on wondering, how did I let myself become this fat? How did I get here? Amaka said to herself sadly, tears streaming down her eyes. Then just 5 days after Christmas, something happened. Their compound that was busy, children playing, women cooking and all of that. Amaka was just in one corner cutting vegetables. Then suddenly, Chioma, the one with the razor blade mouth, who had always taunted her and, made it a point of duty to humiliate her, was just in the middle of the compound, gisting with Ijeoma. Before everybody knew what was happening, Chioma just collapsed, just like that. Everyone gathered around her. They tried to pour water on her. They tried to revive her, calling her name. Chioma, Chioma. Her husband was shaking her. Chioma, Chioma. And that was how they quickly rushed her to the health center. A few hours after that, they got the most shocking news of their lives. Chioma was dead. Chioma was gone. Just like that. No notice. No sickness. Nothing. No big warning. In the morning, she was alive, just still laughing, and a few hours later, she was gone. Their whole compound, everybody was crying. People were confused. How did it happen? How did it happen? Everything, their whole celebration had turned into mourning. Throughout that day, Amaka was shaking. Just that morning, Chioma was even taunting her, saying all sorts of things about her body. And just like that, Chioma is dead. Amaka looked at herself. She looked at her body and said, my heart is still beating. My lungs are working. My legs can still move. This same body that everybody was insulting every day, that me too, I was insulting and saying, I hate my body, is keeping me alive. Like, it is still keeping me alive. Look at Chioma, that is slim and all of that. Yet her body could not keep her alive. And me, that my body is doing its best to keep me alive, and I'm here, always hating on myself. God, thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry for hating my body. I'm sorry for hating my body. This body that you have given me that is keeping me alive. Yet I despise and hate it so much. I'm sorry for hating my body, Chioma said, tears streaming down her eyes. And in that moment, something changed inside her. She was no longer the Amaka that hated herself because she was fat. She became the Amaka that loved her body because it kept her alive. So after the burial and the mourning days, everybody returned to the city, and life slowly went back to normal. But Amaka's mindset had changed forever. She no longer ran to buy new pills. She no longer tried to stab herself. She no longer cursed herself in front of the mirror. Instead, she made a new promise to herself, saying, I will love this body. I will not abuse it. There will be no more shortcuts. She threw away every slimming tea, every appetite suppressant and all of that. She was ready to do things the right way. She stopped calling herself shapeless, ugly, fat. Now, each time she stood in front of the mirror, she would look at her body and say, thank you, body. Thank you, legs, for keeping me alive. Thank you. But yet, she still wanted to be healthier. But now, it was not from the place of hatred. But this time it was from the place of respect. So she started eating better, smaller portions, more vegetables, less sugar, less snacks 7 times a day. And she still enjoyed the normal everyday Nigerian food, rice and stew, but in little portions. She kept on doing her small walks, nothing crazy. She was no longer trying to kill herself with exercise. And as she continued to do those things, slowly, her body began to respond. Her clothes became looser, her steps felt lighter, her face looked brighter, and people began to notice. It was even her husband, Chike, that noticed first. My baby, you're losing weight, though. You're glowing. Chike would say, I'm so proud of you, Chike said to his wife. Then Amaka simply smiled and replied and said, my dear, I'm just treating my body better. That's all. I've come to realize that my body is doing so much work to keep me alive. And all that I can do is to love it while striving for healthier goals, Amaka replied. So by the time the next October came, Amaka was no longer afraid of Christmas because she had lost so much weight. As a matter of fact, all those clothes that she had been buying for her future size, they were now her size. Now she was wearing fitted dresses that made her feel good. She still had curves and all of that, flesh, but she was not, obese and all of that. She was so happy. And by this year's Christmas, she was actually looking forward to going to the village, not to prove anything to Ijeoma, but just to enjoy her life. Amaka had learned something very important. And that was that being alive was more important than being slim. And that shortcuts can destroy what you're trying to fix. And that a body you insult every day was still working hard to keep her alive and breathing. So she cared about her health from a place of respect. No longer hated her body or saw her body as her enemy. Rather, she had changed her body because she loved it. And that made all the difference. Hi, besties. It's your favorite storyteller, Omalicha. Thank you so much for watching my story to the end. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one as usual. What are the moral lessons you learned from this story? Please share your thoughts with me in the comment section. I would like to read them. And please don't forget to support your homegirl, Omalicha, by subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, and sharing with your loved ones. So now, till I come your way again with more interesting stories. Bye. Many years ago, in the beautiful city of Lagos, there lived a beautiful young lady whose name was Chidiogo. Chidiogo was very beautiful and well-mannered. She had graduated almost 3 years ago, but was finding it very difficult to land a good job in Lagos. She had gone for several interviews and had lost count of the number of interviews that she had done. So she began to hustle by the side, selling things online. She was doing drop shipping. So she would advertise beautiful things on her WhatsApp status, wigs, bags, clothes, and the rest of that. And then when people saw it and liked it and paid for it, then she would now use the money to go and buy it and then deliver to them. Chidiogo was barely surviving. And sometimes this got her frustrated. She wanted a good job. She wanted to live a comfortable life. She had left the eastern part of Nigeria to come to Lagos in search of a better life, and yet she couldn't even land a job. So many nights she would cry herself to sleep, praying to God and begging him to look upon her and have mercy upon her and give her a good paying job. But things continued like this for a little longer. However, Chidiogo's best friends, Sophia, Natasha, and Ife, were living large. But then, they were not always rich. As a matter of fact, it was the 4 of them that were struggling in Lagos. All 4 of them could not land a single job in Lagos. But then, before Chidiogo knew what was happening, her friends started dating wealthy men. Like wealthy men, footballers, celebrities, actors, and the rest of that. And before she knew what was happening, one by one, they all took in for their boyfriends. Sophia was dating Malik, that was a musician. And immediately she sensed that her boyfriend Malik was about to dump her for somebody else. She took in and got pregnant for him, saying it was better to be a baby mama to a wealthy man than to be broke and jobless. And as soon as she told Malik that she was pregnant for him, even though, yes, Malik still had a string of other girlfriends, Malik settled her very well and and furnished a beautiful apartment for her in Ikoyi so that his future child would be comfortable. And that was not all, though. He even placed her on a monthly salary just to make her comfortable because she was carrying his child. And in no time, Natasha learned very quickly from Sophia. Oh, she was dating Nico, who was a footballer. And when she sensed that he was having a lot of girls hanging around him, she got pregnant for him as well. And Nico did the same thing and bought her a duplex in Lekki and furnished it to taste and moved her there so that she will be comfortable, so that whenever she gives birth to his child, the child will be comfortable. And they also placed her on a monthly allowance. By this time, Ify had learned from her two friends, Sophia and Natasha, that the best career as of now in Lagos was to be a baby mama to one rich man. So immediately, she made sure that she took in for her boyfriend, whose name was Femi, and who was also a footballer. And Femi did the same thing, relocated her and bought a beautiful apartment for her in Lekki and furnished it to taste. So these ladies were all living large. Sophia, Natasha, Ify. They had suffered in Lagos. They had tried to look for a job and all of that. Nothing was coming their way, only marketing job. So they decided to take the job of a baby mama and they were living very large. It was now left for Chidiogo to join them. But Chidiogo was a Christian and did not believe in exchanging her body for money. She believed that marriage should be kept bed undefiled, that her husband should not see her nakedness before they get married. She was a virgin, and so she kept herself. She wanted to do things the proper way, meet a handsome, responsible man who was also a Christian, get married to him, and have a beautiful home. Not the other way around, not trapping a man with pregnancy. So Chidiogo was left in Ikeja to be suffering. So while all her friends were always traveling, they will go to Santorini, they will go to Seychelles, Mauritius, and all these beautiful places for vacation with their baby bumps. Chidiogo will be back at home drinking gari and granite with no sugar. Some days she will cry herself to sleep. She will pray and fast and ask the Lord to change her story around and all of that. But yet, things continued like this for a little while. A few months later, and all three ladies had given birth. Sophia had given birth to a baby boy, Natasha had given birth to a baby boy, and Ify had given birth to a baby girl. And to celebrate their births, their respective boyfriends, their celebrity boyfriends, had each bought them different beautiful exotic cars. When Chidiogo was scrolling through social media and saw the push gifts that her friends' baby daddies had bought for them, Chidiogo wanted to faint. She didn't even know when tears started streaming down her eyes. And she started lamenting, God, why now? Why now? Look at me, that I've kept myself holy. I've kept myself, I do not sleep with any man. I'm still a virgin. I honor you with my body. I try my best. I pray, I fast. Why is my life like this? Why am I suffering like this? Chidiogo said as she cried uncontrollably. So one of the days she went to visit her friend Sophia to celebrate her on the birth of her baby boy. She was in shock at the beautiful house that Sophia was living in. Sophia was practically a madam. She had cleaners, she had housemates, she had nannies, 3 nannies for just one baby boy. She even had a gardener, she had drivers, she saw like 3 exotic cars in the compound. Sophia, is this what you're enjoying? Chidiogo asked, looking very surprised. Then Sophia simply looked at her and said, Stay there now. You're the one that is doing, I am a righteous girl. My dear, use what you have to get what you want. How many years did we stay looking for a job? How many years did we suffer in Lagos looking for a job? My dear, the trending career now in Lagos is baby mama. Just look for one responsible good man and hold him tight. Before you know what is happening, make sure you get pregnant for him and you'll be fine. Stay there. Just stay there. Be doing, I'm a holy girl. I'm a Christian girl. No problem. Be there and be suffering yourself. Sophia said. Chidiogo was just quiet. She did not know what to say. Wow. She was astonished at the kind of baby girl life that her friend Sophia was living. She also went to visit her other friends, Natasha and Ify, and almost they were all living the soft girl kind of life. Natasha was wearing gold, everything that was on her body, her earrings, her necklace, her wristwatch, her, bangles, everything was dripping gold. Like she was giving thick madame. That day, when Chidiogo went back home, she could not sleep. She laid awake all night thinking about her life. Are you sure? Are you sure I will not go and do this thing? God, I beg, oh. God, I beg. Look at my friends that we all started together. Look at them. They are now big ladies. They're now the Lekki big girls, Ikoyi big girls. And me, I'm here suffering, still carrying CV from one place to the other, still advertising bags on WhatsApp status. God, now answer me quickly, oh. Answer me quickly, oh. Do you want me to go and sing? Answer me quickly, oh. Chidiogo said as she wept and slept off. So things continued like this for a while. Then one day, Chidiogo was at home when she received a call from her sister. It was her mom. Her mom was very sick and needed urgent surgery. And the doctors were saying that she had to pay 3.5 million naira as deposit for the surgery. Chidiogo did not have that kind of money anywhere. So she called her friends, Ify, Sophia, and Natasha. And even though they all contributed and gave her the money, it was a wake-up call for Chidiogo. Her mother had suffered to train her through school. Her mother had practically sold in the market every day just to be able to raise money to send her to the university. And now that she was a graduate, the mother was expecting to relax and be taken care of, yet she could not even land a good job. So it was at this point that Chidiogo made up her mind that she was going to do what her friends were doing. She was going to join the baby mama industry. She was going to become a baby mama to one of these rich guys so that at least she'll be settled for life. At least she'll be receiving child support all through the next 18 years of the child's life. And with the money they give her, she'll be able to set up something for herself. So one day, Chidiogo went to Sophia and looked at her and said, "My friend, I am tired. I'm tired of being the good girl. I have prayed, I have fasted, I have sown seed. Nothing is working. I'm ready. I'm ready to become a baby mama. I'm ready to become a baby mama. Please help me. Link me to one of your guy's friends, somebody that you know is cool-headed," and all of that. Chidiogo said, begging at the verge of tears. Then Sophia looked at her and said, finally, you don't have sense. You're here suffering. Omo, thank God you have woken up, even though you've wasted time, but no problem. Thank God you've woken up. Use what you have to get what you want. And so a few weeks later, Sophia had invited Chidiogo to join her to a party where all these rich boys of Lagos hung out every time. Chidiogo made sure to dress her very best. She wore a very beautiful short dress and did a very beautiful makeup. She was looking all bright and radiant. So upon getting to the club, they were partying, dancing, hanging out, and all of that. And that was when Chidiogo met Baba Jide, who was fondly called Jide. It was love at first sight for Jide. As soon as Jide saw Chidiogo, he fell in love with her and walked up to her and spoke to her. And Chidiogo, who was shy, was just busy blushing and blushing. They spent quality time together that night and they exchanged their numbers. And by the following day, Jide had called Chidiogo even before she woke up more than 10 times. Chidiogo was so happy. They began to hang out more frequently, so she learned that he was a tech bro, that he actually owned a startup tech firm that was doing so well. Chidiogo was happy that she had caught a big fish. So as soon as she was sure of what he did to make money, that he was not just one of these lucky boys that were pretending to be rich, but that he was actually a big boy, Chidiogo gave in. And in less than 1 week after meeting him, Chidiogo slept with him. She practically gave her virginity to Jide. Jide was so shocked that he was the first person to ever lie with Chidiogo. And this made him even love her so much more. He could not believe that a lady at her age could have still kept herself for this long. And so he became very generous to her just because he was the one who had laid with her first. In less than 1 month from the time they met, Jide rented and furnished a beautiful apartment for Chidiogo in Lekki and even bought her a brand new car. Chidiogo had joined the league of Lekki big girls. She was so happy, especially because Jide was so generous to her. He gave her so much money. Now she was able to send money back home as often as she pleased. She was so excited. She thanked God that she listened to her friend and got herself a man. So things were going on just well for them. She became a big girl like her friends and began to follow her friends on vacations and, on lunch dates, brunch dates, and all of that. Chidiogo was now a big girl. She was enjoying the soft life, shopping in beautiful boutiques. She could afford anything that she wanted. She had maids at her beck and call. She even had a driver. She was so happy. And Jide really loved her. He pampered her silly and spoiled her to the core. And then one day, when she hung out with her friends, Sophia, Natasha, and Ify, they were all gisting and laughing. Sophia looked at Chidiogo and said, "Welcome to the Big Girls League. Shebi, all this while we're telling you to join." He said, "No, I'm a Christian. I cannot do this. I cannot do that. Look at you now. Look at your skin. See how your skin is popping. See how soft girl life fits you. You're just there suffering yourself. But my dear, do not be too comfortable, oh. Do not be too comfortable at all," Sophia said. Then Chidiogo looked at her and said, "What do you mean?" Then Ify chipped in and said, "My dear, I know, yes, Jide loves you because he was the first person to lie with you and all of that. But do not trust these men, oh. They move on very quickly. Once he sights the next beautiful fish in the river, he will abandon you. So my dear, you need to wisen up. It's not just about being the girlfriend of a celebrity, the girlfriend of a tech bro or of a rich guy. That is not enough, oh. It is not enough. The trending career now is being a baby mama. It's being a baby mama. As it stands for me, Seth, this my guy, Femi, he's gradually growing broke, oh. So I'm already looking for the next celebrity to go and get a baby for, a second baby for, and become a baby mama. Because my dear, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. You have to diversify," Ify said, and they all busted out into laughter. Then Natasha looked at Chidiogo and said, "My dear, what we are trying to say in essence is that do not be carried away by all this love that Jide is pouring on you. It's time to use it wisely and tie that man around your waist. Get pregnant for him. At least you've seen that he's a responsible man. That way, if he wakes up tomorrow and say that he's no longer interested in you, my dear, you have secured child support for the next 18 years of your child's life. And that is enough to fund your baby girl lifestyle, Natasha said. And Chidiogo listened with rapt attention. So the next time it was that time of the month, Chidiogo had invited her man, Jide, to come over and visit. She prepared him a sumptuous meal and wore a beautiful, sexy dress for him. And at the end of the day, she made sure that Jide laid with her. And a few weeks later, she did a pregnancy test and confirmed that she was pregnant. She was so happy. Her plan had worked just the way she envisaged it. And a few days after that, when she hung out with her man, Jide, she broke the news to him that she was pregnant. And Jide was so happy. He literally picked her up from the floor and twirled her around. Chidiogo was so happy and was laughing like a little girl. A few days after that, Babajide even gifted her $5,000 just for getting pregnant for him. Oh, Chidiogo was so happy. At this point, she was super glad that she had listened to her friend's advice. Everything was going on well all through the pregnancy. Her boyfriend was literally cooking for her, despite the fact that she had maids. He would serve her breakfast in bed. He would massage her feet. He would buy flowers for her. He was just a perfect gentleman. Chidiogo was so happy. Then one day, when she was 8 months pregnant, something happened that changed her life forever. Chidiogo was at home, gisting and having fun with Jide, when suddenly a group of policemen barged into the house and then looked at Babajide and said, Babajide Ayola, you are under arrest for fraud, impersonation, and cyber theft. Please be advised that you have the right to remain silent because everything you say or do will be used against you in the court of law. The police officer said as they handcuffed Jide and whisked him away. Chidiogo was confused. What is happening here? What is it? No, he doesn't. He's not involved in cyber theft. Oh no, he's a tech bro. He's a tech bro. My man is not involved in cyber theft. Oh, Chidiogo was blabbing. The police officers did not pay any heed to her. They just whisked the young man away. And so that was how Chidiogo began to go from police station to the court, trying to bail her man, Jide, only for her to find out in the course of all her movements that Jide was actually not a tech bro. The tech company that he said he founded was just a cover. Jide was a confirmed Yahoo boy, 419, that had defrauded a lot of people that were living abroad in the US, UK, and all of that. At that point, Chidiogo knew that her life was finished. She kept on crying. Why is my own case always different? Why is my own case always different? I said, okay, let me go and finally do the baby mama something. I went to do baby mama. Now, of all the people to do baby mama for, it's for a 419er, a Yahoo boy. Chidiogo said as she wept bitterly. But there was nothing that she could do because Jide was sentenced to 15 years in prison and all his assets, his house, his cars, everything was seized. Even the cars that he had bought for her was also seized. Chidiogo was crying and crying. She even went to her friends Sophia, Natasha, and Ify to speak with them to please help her. And all of them just sidelined her. Oh. Sophia looked at her and said, my dear, you're supposed to do your research now. You should have done your findings. You should have been sure of what he was doing before you got pregnant for him. Everybody did their own. Me, I did. I got a child for a footballer. Ify and Natasha, reasonable people. Your own, you went to go and get a child for a 419er. Someone that has been sentenced to prison, 15 years in prison. Ha, there's nothing I can do for you. Oh. There's nothing I can do for you. The highest you do, maybe you sell your wigs, sell your bags, sell everything, and maybe start a business or something. There's nothing that I can do for you, and please stop coming to my house. Biko, before they would also think that my own boyfriend too is into fraud. Please. I don't want that kind of nonsense. Sophia said to Chidiogo. Chidiogo was shocked beyond her bone marrows. She went back home weeping and crying. And a few months later, Chidiogo went into labor and she gave birth to two beautiful babies, two bouncing baby boys. Chidiogo was so shocked. Ordinarily, she should have been happy and excited. But how will she be excited when she cannot take care of herself? Not to talk of two boys, two toddlers, and their father is behind bars in the prison. Chidiogo kept on crying and crying. Why is my case always different? Why is my case always different? Why is my own case always different? She wept for days. Children that were supposed to be a source of joy became a source of sorrow for her. She didn't know how she was going to take care of them. A few days after that, she was discharged from the hospital and went back home. She spent her days in regrets. All her friends had abandoned her. They were the ones that advised her to become a baby mama. And now she finally said, let her leave being a good girl, being a Christian girl, and join the baby mama industry. And it did not favor her. Instead, she ended up with two boys with no child support and with a baby daddy behind bars. She wished that she could turn back and change the hands of time, but it was already too late. She took Sophia's advice and began to sell all the luxury items that Jide had bought for her, from wigs to designer bags to shoes to everything. She had to sell everything. And she also had to fire all the staff, the driver, the maids, and all of that, because she could not keep up. And she could not even continue staying in the house that Jide had rented for her. So she had to sell everything that was of value to her and move back to Enugu to go and live with her mother and her siblings. She knew that she had not only brought shame on herself, but on her family. She wished that she had just waited on God for God's time, for God to settle her and give her a good job rather than joining the baby mama industry. She learned a very valuable lesson that because other people are doing something does not mean that you will do it and it will work for you. Sometimes 100 people might be doing something and will get away with it. But when it comes to your own turn, you will not go scot-free. Imagine that all her friends, Ify, Natasha, Sophia, all landed good baby daddies and it got to her turn. And she landed a 419er, a Yahoo boy. She learned her lesson the hard way. Hi besties, it's your favorite storyteller, Omalicha. Thank you so much for watching my story to the end. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one as usual. What do you think? Why is it that usually someone will be doing something, like you will have wayward friends that are, sleeping around with guys, partying, clubbing and all of that. And they will never get pregnant though. But once you just see one Christian girl that just decides to be wayward just once, she just let her just be wayward small, she will get pregnant. Or maybe better still, even get HIV. So why does these things always happen? Look at Chidiogo, for example. Look at her friends. They all got good baby daddies, all gave birth to one children. It got to her turn and she got a Yahoo person, a Yahoo boy. And not just that, instead of just one child, she had two children. So my question is, why is that when sometimes some Christians who have upheld all the virtues of Christianity, being upright and all that, once they just try, just one time, they say let them try and explore the world, it always ends in premium tears. Do you think it's God's way of punishing them? Or do you think it's just a coincidence, or is God trying to teach them a lesson? What do you really think? Please share your thoughts with me in the comment section, and please support your home girl, Omalicha, by subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, and sharing with your loved ones. So now, till I come your way again with more interesting stories. Bye.